Welcome back to our channel. I'm Anne from the Sussex Handmade Soap Company, and this week, even though it is still only October, we are bringing you the second of our Christmas soaps. This week's Christmas soap is one of my favourites. It is our little Christmas pudding soap. It smells like warm gingerbread, and it has got festive Christmas puddings running through it, and it is decorated with gold eco glitter and a little holly and berry design. This soap, like our others, is available to purchase in our shop just here. So if you want to get yourself some stocking fillers or little kind of teacher gifts, feel free to head on over there and take a look at our range. Yeah, today's soap was a lot of fun to make. Hopefully the video you are about to see will explain the process and give you guys the chance to actually make it yourself if you want to, and still have time for it to be cured and ready before Christmas hits us this year. So I hope you enjoy the video. That's it. That's it. Enjoy the video, yeah. So the first thing I'm going to show you with today's soap is how we actually make our embeds for the centre of the soap, and we are using extruded embeds. I have got some soap dough here, a nice long log of soap dough, and this is just our regular soap recipe. But once we have brought it to a trace, we pour it out and we then kind of decant it into airtight bags so that it can't harden up. And then we leave it for a few days and then we kind of roll it, and it gives us a very workable soap dough. It is not a perfect soap dough. It is not 100% smooth and perfect, but it works for us. And this particular one we have coloured with Sahara Shimmer Mica from Resonate. It gives that gorgeous kind of bronzy brown colour, and we used 0.5% mica to soap dough. So basically that means for every 200 grams of soap dough we added 1 gram of the mica colour, and that is what has given us this colour that you're seeing here. Now, to extrude our embeds, we are using the I Dream in Soap large extruder tool, and we are also using the I Dream in Soap Christmas Pudding extruder discs. These are from Lisa at I Dream in Soap. She has got a YouTube channel. She does some fantastic videos, so if you're not already familiar with her, do check her out, and I thoroughly recommend the large extruder and the discs because they give you the option of making such intricate designs, and it makes it pretty easy to do as well, which is fantastic. We are also using one more little extruder disc which came with the small Fimo extruder that some of you may have seen me using in the past. This is just going to be used for the kind of cherry on top of the Christmas pudding, and it is just a very small circular extruder disc. So I am now going to pop the soap dough into the extruder, and we are going to get going with extruding our little Christmas pudding bases. We're going to start with the base first, and that is going to be the brown part. So beginning by popping my soap dough into the extruder, I think I might have a little too much, or it might, oh there we go, that is almost a perfect fit actually. Then we're grabbing the extruder disc, the top bit, the little Christmas pudding base, which slips into the adapter like so, and then we just screw it on to the end of the extruder, like that. Now all we need to do is screw the top part on, and we are good to go. So the moulds I use are just over 16 inches in length. They're about 16.5 inches in length, so I need my extrusions to be at least that long. I've got my tape measure here. Normally I've got a chalk pen and I actually just write on this table here and it kind of washes off. I don't know if it will wash off the board, so for today I have just got the tape measure so I can see when I get to, well I tend to go to 17 and then I chop. So let's extrude some Christmas pudding bases. And as it comes out, I tend to just gently guide it with my hand And I go nice and slow and steady. For those of you that watch Lisa's videos, you will know that she does this a lot more eloquently. She has a lot more finesse than I do. But this works for me, and I am never the most kind of perfect person when it comes to doing things with style and flair. I just kind of get the job done, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, we swear a little bit and then we try again. So I've now made the bottom part of the Christmas puddings, and I'm going to move on to the top part, which is going to be done in exactly the same way, except we are using the top part of the Christmas pudding extruder disc and some white soap dough. And I'm going to go in to the extruder with the white soap dough now. And again, attaching the base on and attaching the top. And then gently squeezing the handle of the extruder. It's just a very gentle squeeze. And once it starts coming out the end, I'm just gently guiding it out, squeezing it slowly on the trigger. And you can see that that Christmas pudding top is extruding really nicely. And there we have the top part of our Christmas pudding. Now I'm going to do the rest of the top parts of the Christmas pudding, and then we're going to move on to our last little disc for the red berry on top. But that is going to be in a few hours' time, because I've just heard there's a seafood and wine festival on in my town today. So I'm going to take a little break after I've done these top parts and go down to that, because wine is not really my thing, but I do like seafood. So a little break is definitely required to visit that. So one last step before I head off to the Seafood and Wine Festival, I'm actually going to attach our top and bottom parts of our Christmas pudding together, just because I don't want them to dry or firm up too much while I'm gone. And the way we are going to do that is really easy. Just some distilled water and a little paintbrush. And I'm going to take the base of a Christmas pudding, dip my paintbrush in the water, and just put a nice light layer of water on the base of the Christmas pudding. And this is going to help it to stick, because you know, when you're using soap, and if it's wet and you put it down on the side of the bath or the side of the sink, when you go back to it, it is stuck like glue. And that is what the water does, and that is what the water is going to do in this instance. It is effectively going to glue our top and bottom parts of the Christmas pudding together. So I'm just measuring up, making sure that I get it the right way round, so it's going to be this way. And I'm just gently placing the top of the Christmas pudding onto the bottom part, and then I'm turning it on its side because I find it a little easier to do it this way, and I'm just very lightly pressing it together. I'm not doing it too hard because I don't want to kind of squash it or damage it in any way, but just lightly pressing together the two halves, rolling it around, doing the same on the other side. And there we have one Christmas pudding. And when I get back, I'm just going to extrude the red berry for the top, and then we're going to attach that. So we are back from the Seafood and Wine Festival now, full of delicious seafood. And we are now going to extrude the red berries for the top of our Christmas pudding. You will have to excuse the background noise. Wayne has put on the washing machine and he is now outside trimming the garden as well. So there will be a little bit of background noise, but I want to get this done now, so we're all just going to have to put up with it. I have already filled the gun with our red soap dough, and I have attached the silver extruder disc too, like so. And now all that's left to do is just gently squeeze the handle to extrude our red berries. And again, just coaxing it out in a straight line, because it does have a habit of going a little bit wiggly. But these are really easy to extrude actually. It doesn't take a lot of soap dough. And as long as you get that first bit nice and straight, generally it does actually extrude quite nicely. So bringing one of them back in, and we're doing it exactly the same way with our water and our paintbrush. And I'm just painting a small amount of water across the top part of the Christmas pudding, so the white part, using it like a glue. And then I'm carefully going to pick up our red extrusion. It is still very soft, so being as careful as I can and placing it into the centre of the white part so that we get the illusion of the berry on top of the Christmas pudding. And to give you a very rough idea, that is what it's looking like at the moment. Obviously it's not quite super stuck there, but I promise you, once it is in the soap and it's all been made, it should come out looking pretty good. So I'm going to put these extrusions to one side now, and then we're going to start making our Christmas pudding soap. Right, so we've brought our batter to a medium trace, and we have split it down so that we've got 1/3 in this jug and 2/3 in this jug. Now we're going to add in our mica colour. We've got 1.4 grams of brushed bronze, which is going into the larger portion, and we have got 0.2 grams of coppery blush going into the smaller portion, and these are both by Resonate. And then I'm just going to work them in to the batter a little, and then I'm going to whiz them in with the stick blender just to make sure that that colour is really nicely incorporated. So now the colours are mixed in nicely, we're actually going to split both portions in half again. So I'm going to grab another couple of jugs and split these both down equally. So everything has been split in half now, and now I'm going to add our fragrance oil into this first portion. This is a gingerbread fragrance oil from Candle Shack, and it is 13.3 grams, 40 grams in total going into the whole soap, and this portion requires 13.3 grams. Gingerbread does accelerate, so I'm going to work quickly with it once it is in. So stir it in really quickly, and the next step is going to be pulling in the mould and pouring our lower layer. So just pouring out the lower layer, and this should fill around about 1/3 of the mould, because this is 1/3 of the batter. I'm going to give it a shake and a tap to level it as much as I can, and then we're going to move on to the next layer. So I'll push this just in front of me, and then I'm bringing back in our next layer, and I'm going to add fragrance into this portion as well. We've got 6.7 grams of gingerbread going into this layer, and again just making sure that it is mixed in really nicely. And then I'm going to pour it over the lower layer, and I'm going to use the spatula just to try and make sure that it doesn't break through the lower layer. That lower layer is still a little soft. But as I said, gingerbread does accelerate, and it does accelerate fairly quickly. So it can be a bit of a pain. And obviously at the moment that is pretty uneven, so I'm just going to drag where it has been thicker to hopefully level it out and make it all one uniform height. And I think that is looking okay now. So now it's time to bring in our embeds, those little Christmas puddings that we made earlier, and I'm just going to place these down into the batter. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to press them down so that roughly half of that Christmas pudding is buried in batter and the top half is still visible. And once I'm happy with the Christmas pudding positioning and how deep they are and where they are sitting, I'm again going to move this out of the way and bring back in the next layer of batter. And it's just a case of repeating the process that we have now already done. I'm going to grab our fragrance oil. So another 6.7 grams of gingerbread scented fragrance oil going in. This is such a gorgeous scented fragrance oil. It really does smell like Christmas. It's got that gorgeous kind of sweet, Christmassy scent, and I absolutely love it. It can get a little overpowering when you are making a lot of Christmas pudding soaps, but the actual finished soap retains a really lovely scent, and it is not overpowering in the finished soap, or at least I don't think it is. When that is mixed in, we pull the soap mould back to the centre, and we now pour the remainder of the soap batter over the top of the Christmas puddings, making sure that they are covered. I'm not going over the spatula because if it does break through, it's not a problem, because the lower layer of soap batter here is the same colour as what we are now pouring. The main thing is just trying to make sure that we get all of those little Christmas pudding embeds properly covered with this soap batter. And now that I am happy with how that is looking, again, we're going to push it out the way. We're going to bring in our last layer, which again is the same brown that we used for the first layer. And as you can see, it has started to thicken up quite a bit. I'm just going to loosen it a little by stirring it. And then I'm going to add in the last part of the fragrance. So another 13.3 grams of gingerbread scented fragrance oil going in. Then moving back to the mould, and this is going to be tough because it's going to be hard to pour over the spatula, but I really don't want it breaking through, so I'm going to kind of gloop it over the spatula. This could get messy, but we can sort it out later on. That is not a problem. So yeah, we are essentially just plapping it onto our soap. And I know this does look incredibly messy, but I promise you, when we are done, it's going to look absolutely fine. So a really good shake from side to side to this one. I'm going to grab my spatula and I'm going to bring some from this end down to the other end, because again I have more at what is my right and less on my left. And then I'm going to tap it down really firmly, because otherwise I think there is a risk of air bubbles, and I don't want air bubbles. So that was a proper thwack. But on the plus side, I am now pretty satisfied that there shouldn't be any major air bubbles in that soap. I'm just going to clean the edges up a little, and then we're going to decorate the top. So to decorate the top, I'm taking a spoon and I'm doing the back of the spoon technique, going down and then pulling up into the centre. And this is incredibly satisfying. Once I get to this point in the soap making, I kind of feel a little bit more confident that everything's kind of gone as it should and things are working. And this is kind of the relaxing part of the end of the soap making. We're going to turn it round, do the same on the other side, and then we're going to make the top look pretty. And the first step to making the top look pretty is to use some gold eco glitter, 0.2 grams of gold eco glitter. I'm placing it on the scales to my left and I'm measuring it out of there. Generally it's a couple of pinches. I have taken my glove off one of my hands because I cannot do glitter with gloves on. I've tried, it doesn't work. My hand isn't going to be going anywhere near the actual soap, and I will put my glove back on in a minute when it comes to decorating the actual rest of the soap with our little embeds that we have got for the top. But for now, it's just a lot easier to get the glitter on like this. So that's 0.1 grams. And this little pinch will make it 0.2 grams of gold eco glitter, and again this is from Resonate, on the top of our soap. There we go. Pretty sparkly, glittery soap. Right, time to get the glove back on and then put the embeds on the top. I'm going to turn the soap round for the next part though, because it's just going to make it a heck of a lot easier for me. So to finish off today's soap, we have got some embeds. You may or may not be able to tell what they are. These are basically little holly leaves that I extruded with an iDream soap extruder, and some berries that I just hand rolled. And what I'm going to do, I hear a delivery turning up. I imagine in a few seconds there will be a knock at my door. Please ignore that. That is, I think it's 100 kilograms of coconut oil turning up and 25 kilograms of castor oil, so that'll be fun. Right, so we're taking 2 holly berries. I have marked out, you probably can't see it, but I can, on my mould where, there's the door, where the bars are going to be cut, because I want to make sure that our decorations don't get cut. So I'm going to be careful that my jumper doesn't go into the soap, because it is looking dangerously close. And then I'm going to place 2 holly berries at the centre of each bar. And this is a massive faff to do with gloves on. It really is. But it saves the hands, doesn't it? So I'm going to work my way down this bar now. Oh, dropped one. I'm going to grab some tweezers for that. And I'm just going to work my way down, adding on the holly leaves and the holly berries. And when it comes to the berries, we are going with 3 per top of soap. And I'm just pressing them 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do the rest of the soap now and then show you what it's like when it's finished. So here is the finished Christmas pudding soap, and there's no denying that doing that top is a massive faff, but I think it's worth it because I think that that looks really pretty and really Christmassy. We will be back tomorrow after 24 hours to cut it up and show you how it's looking. So we are back 24 hours later with our Christmas pudding soap, and if I have lined up the little decorations on top correctly, then we should be able to cut the bar without chopping any of them. Let's hope that is indeed what happens. Looks like the positioning is pretty good so far. Nothing seems to have been chopped, apart from tiny red berry there, but that is not noticeable because it is so minuscule. So a fairly good chopping session. Let's pull out a bar and see how it looks. So there is our little Christmas pudding gingerbread scented soap. We've got the glitter and the holly berry decoration on top, and I'm very happy with how this one has turned out today. So here are the finished Christmas pudding soaps. I'm so happy with how they have turned out. They are definitely in my top 3 of our 2021 Christmas range. I love the little kind of glitter and holly berry design on the top, and I just love the smell as well. I think that kind of warm gingerbread scent is gorgeous. If you would like to get your hands on one of these soaps, I presume there's going to be some left in our shop and that we haven't sold out in a week flat. Although if we have, that would be amazing, but I don't think that's going to happen. So they should still be there, here, in our website. Use the 20% off discount code if you want to. Get yourself a little bit of cash off. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's great to be back on YouTube. We hope you're enjoying our Christmas seasonal range, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do like what you're seeing. Bye!
See ya!